Broadcast First, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, good evening to you. Taking a look at our roofing dog, iNet Bratcher weather camera at the billowing cumulonimbus clouds that are just to the east of Champaign. And we can see those on the Storm Tracker Doppler with showers and some thunderstorms. Take a look at this guy right here in far eastern Champaign County, north of Ogden. Other cells here into Vermilion County, down into Edgar County as well. And all of these moving through with, once again, an evening where we're going to be dealing with scattered showers and thunderstorms. And boy, it kind of feels like it. We've got temperatures in the 80s, feeling a little muggy out there as well. As you head throughout tonight, we may be dodging a couple of thunderstorms. More rain in store for the rest of the week. We'll show you that coming up. WCIA3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA3 News.
Right now, we're not experiencing any new cases.
It's the site of a major outbreak of coronavirus, why it now has the Help Wanted sign out.
He has one job, and this is to fix this, and he has been totally neglectful about this.
And one lawmaker is calling out the governor. Why he's going so far as to say he should be removed from office.
And plans are in the works to reopen downtown Urbana, but the question is, how is that going to happen?
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA3 News at 6.
We're taking all sorts of precautions to improve the place.
A pork plant in central Illinois is hiring after it had nearly 90 cases of coronavirus since last month. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini. The medical director overseeing the cases at Rantoul Foods says it's ready for the new recruits. WCIA3's Courtney Bunting explains how.
SafeWorks has helped Rantoul Foods make changes to protect employees, and because of that, Rantoul Foods is now looking to hire. After 88 confirmed cases of COVID-19, those changes have been drastic. Everyone is being checked for symptoms when they come to work, and they're all required to wear masks.
Crews, sanitizing the plant. Certainly when you're under scrutiny, you really try to do extraordinary steps to protect your employees.
SafeWorks Medical Director Dr. David Fletcher is overseeing the testing of employees. He says 58 of the 88 confirmed cases have been cleared, and they're returning to work. But 28 of them decided not to come back. With production still underway at the plant, they have to make up the difference, but do so cautiously.
All employees who do get hired at Rantoul Foods are going to need to have a negative COVID-19 test before starting to work. They're going to have to follow the guidelines as far as wearing a mask at all time. There's some staggering as far as breaks and lunches.
Around 95% of the employees who tested positive didn't have symptoms.
And that's the biggest concern out there, is those asymptomatics are the ones that can spread it to other people because they don't feel sick. And so that was kind of the hard thing for us, is a lot of these employees, we had to really spend a lot of educational time with them, explaining to them, you have to do the 10-day quarantine, you can't have a fever. In some cases, we required some follow-up tests.
Reporting, I'm Courtney Bunting, WCIA3, your local news leader.
Only one of those positive cases remains in isolation. 65% of Rantoul Foods' 700 employees have been tested. They plan to eventually test all of them. Now, 3 more people have died at the Charleston Rehab and Healthcare Facility. Coles County now has 13 deaths from COVID-19. 73 of the 120 confirmed cases in the county are from that nursing home. That includes residents and employees. 39 more people across the state died. That makes 4,923 total deaths. There were almost 1,200 new cases reported. That makes well over 113,000 here in Illinois. Communities across the state are preparing for phase 3 of reopening on Friday. In Urbana, city leaders are asking for feedback from restaurants. WCIA3's Jen Lask joins us live downtown. So, Jen, what happened today?
Well, today, the restaurant owners needed to get the notes in for the survey that the city was asking for, just letting them know if they would need public or private settings for the space outdoors. Now, tomorrow is when the city is going to be sending out the applications for each of the restaurants to then apply for this permit. Now, what they're looking for, again, is to figure out whether or not they need the outdoor space to be on private property. Some of them are also looking at parking lots and sidewalk structures. But right now, the city of Urbana says that it doesn't need to use street closures yet. They say that not enough restaurants say they're going to be reopening for them to be worried about that crowding issue.
Several of the establishments already had sidewalk cafes, and so they're used to that process. However, they're having to spread out tables, of course, and make accommodations in the terms of having hand sanitizers, the different guidelines. So
And again, one of the issues that they're also looking at with these permits will be whether or not they are up to full staff. That is one of the reasons that some of these restaurants will not be reopening on Friday. Right now, they've got at least 20 saying that they are planning to reopen for outdoor seating, but some still need more staffing. And city workers will be working tomorrow as quickly as possible, they say, in order to turn around these applications so restaurants will know when indeed they are able to reopen on Friday. Live in Urbana, Jen Lask, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Yeah, no doubt time is running short. Jen, thanks. Well, one state representative is calling Governor Pritzker's response to COVID-19 a failure. Alan Skillicorn of East Dundee filed an affidavit to have the governor recalled. Although Skillicorn began the process, he would need the support of other members to make it happen. WCIA 3's Gabrielle Franklin explains why Skillicorn is doing this and what the governor is saying in response.
He ordered the shutdown on the 19th. It didn't take effect until March 21st. He had the duty to actually have those phone lines staffed. He had the duty to start addressing this, and he waited over 5 weeks to move on this, and it's still not working.
Representative Alan Skillicorn says problems with the state's employment security system have been a source of frustration for him and the people he represents.
You have the phone lines are still not being adequately staffed, and there are people that some people have been approved, and their debit cards are not funded. And also you have all these new people that, they need some sort of hearing because they've been denied, and it's not happening. And this is a real problem.
Though Skillicorn says he's been frustrated since the governor first issued the stay-at-home order, he says a breach in the IDES system was the breaking point that led to the decision. Pritzker responding to the filing Tuesday afternoon.
After many years of representatives like that one, voting to have a budget stalemate for 2 years in which we had no budget and no funding for our budget in the state, and has consistently voted against budgets that would fund vital agencies that we now, frankly, need very badly in this pandemic.
Skillicorn would need help from members of both parties in both chambers in order for the recall to go over to the State Board of Elections. But he isn't relying on lawmakers to get this done.
But I think there's 3 or 4 that are already signed on to this. And as soon as these, tens of thousands of people start calling their reps and senators, I fully expect to have all 30 in a short period of time, and we can begin the petition process to get this started.
Reporting in Springfield, Gabrielle Franklin.
In response to the claims that Pritzker should have acted on improving the unemployment system sooner, the governor says when it became clear the system would see a rush of applicants, he acted as quickly as he could. With a system you can't just snap your fingers and replace. Well, a man from Urbana is dead after a crash on the interstate. Police say it happened this morning on I-74 between Mansfield and Farmer City. 62-year-old David Stockwell was driving west when his car went off the road and hit a fence and some trees. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. A person is dead after a car crash in Decatur last night. It happened at the intersection of Jasper and Condit Streets around 9:30. Officers found 2 cars crashed at the intersection. 4 people from one car were taken to the hospital. A 27-year-old woman from Decatur later died. The driver of the other car ran away. Police are still searching for that person who left the scene. Anyone with information should call Decatur police. Not a great time to run for office. One candidate is collecting signatures while social distancing. Plus this.
I wish we could at least walk the stage.
But this year, graduation day has a different look, where you had to have a car to get your diploma.
And little storms popping up across central Illinois tonight. Eastern Champaign County, the storm right there, headed between Rantoul and Gifford, right near the Flatville area, and that storm is moving to the north and will continue to do so, along with other thunderstorms that are out there this evening. The question is, are we going to see any severe weather from any of this? We'll talk about that and how long these warm temperatures are going to stick around. Coming up.